Isn't the day so exciting? Oh, honey, when I wake up, I'm feeling got your back. We got it down like that. Yeah, 'cause two is always better. Team, team. We don't give in to the pressure. You and me, we find the treasure. You'll see us on the news. We're going to the moon. Yeah, we're ready for whatever. Light that fire, there ain't no stopping. Hold back down 'cause we can't be beat. We keep going and they're just talking. 'Cause you and I, we make a perfect team. Come and bring it all together. We're like birds of a feather. You know I got your back. We got it down like that. Yeah, 'cause two is always better. Team, go team. Team go. Team go. Team go. Team.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday, October 27th. We are here for week 3 of the Artist's Way. I can't believe we're already like 3 weeks in. I feel like this is just gonna go by so fast. I don't want it to go by fast, but I feel like it's starting to already go by pretty quickly. So we're gonna give it a few minutes for people to hop in. I just sent out another email. So if you're on the list, you might see another email that we are live now. And if you're watching the replay, hi, I'm so happy that you're watching the replay. Awesome to have you here. And if you are watching live, make sure to comment in the chat, say hello. So this past week I was in Vegas. I'm going to be honest, I dropped the balls on the emails. I should have sent out the checkout email on Saturday, and I should have had like the check-in email on Saturday. And then I should have scheduled out the reminder email yesterday. Totally forgot to do that. So that's how you know this is like me actually doing this and not AI or whatever else. I totally might. And you would think like after all these years of me being a marketer, I would have my stuff nailed down, but you know, it's going to happen eventually, but this week is not that week. So anyways, I was in Vegas this past week. I got to speak. If any of you guys have been following me on Facebook, many of you guys know I'm an ambassador for ClickFunnels, and we do these things called ClickFunnels Connect, and they have little ones, you know, kind of all over the place. Like I did one here in Clearwater a few months ago. They're doing a big one in Japan next month. They did one in Barcelona a few months ago. I'm sure they'll probably do another one in Boise at some point, but they're kind of doing like these little pop-ups. And some of my friends threw one in Vegas, and so we got to fly out there. I say we, but it was me. me and my friends. My friends got to meet me out there. So we all kind of flew in from our different spots, and we went out to Vegas to speak at the event. And so I flew in Tuesday, and then the event was on Wednesday, and then I came home a day early. I came home on Thursday instead of staying out there till Friday, and it was fun. It was awesome. I'm not gonna lie though, I didn't do my morning pages every single day. I did do it most of the week, but not every day while I was traveling on the trip. I did get to catch up on sleep, which was really nice. I did get to do a presentation I've never done before, which many people, I got a lot of really good feedback that people really enjoyed it. So I think I'm going to turn that into like a webinar of some sorts and talk about it. I've been going live on TikTok, kind of sharing the process of my combination between like Canva and ClickFunnels. So that's been pretty cool. But anyways, I did do my artist date because I was in Vegas by myself. So I got to walk around downtown for a little bit, and then I went to a mall and I did some self-care because with artists, it can be really hard for us to do some self-care. So I did some self-care. I got a mani-pedi done, which was awesome, totally worth it. Walked around the mall for a bit, did some shopping for a bit. So it was cool. It was a good way to like rest and recover, but also kind of feel creative at the same time. So with that being said, now let's go ahead. That's my check-in for the week. Let's go ahead and dive into week 3 of the Artist Way. I'm going to go ahead and get my presentation set up and ready. I didn't do this beforehand. Hold on a second. Let me do this, and then let me do this. Yay! Okay. Well, I'm gonna hide myself really quickly. Hey, all right. So we're on week 3 of the Artist Way. This chapter is all about recovering a sense of power. And now let me I'm gonna put myself back up. I have been adjusting my slides, so now I can have me and the slides at the same time, which is awesome. So if you guys have the book, feel free to read through it if you want, or you could just kind of use this as a recap if you want. But we are on week 3, and last week we did recovering a sense of, I think it was identity, right? And then the week before that was, I already forgot what it was, recovering a sense of safety. And so right about now is kind of the time where I notice some people kind of dropping off. It can be really difficult to kind of stay in momentum with this book at this point. I know for some people, especially after reading the identity piece, they're like, "Oh man, there's a lot of new things that were revealed to them." And so they might be like, maybe this isn't for me, maybe this isn't the time or season or the place for me. And I know with everything that's kind of going on in the world and even America right now, there are more pressing issues and more things. Life just happens, right? And you got to take care of yourself in this whole process. So I totally get it. But we're on week 3. So she starts off with talking about how anger is a tool. And I actually really like this reframe and this repositioning because I've never seen anger in this sort of light. And I'm the type of person, I don't know if anybody else is like this. It's very rare I get angry about something, but when I do get angry about something, it is like a righteous anger. Like I am just like full of this righteous anger. And so now I pay a lot more attention to that feeling. And especially if I'm so angry where it's a gut feeling, or I might be shaking, or I might be so angry that I just kind of tend to be silent and cry. I've had that happen many times before from like, words that people have told me and things that I've been, that have been said about me. And so in the past, I wouldn't recognize that anger, but what she's saying is like, hey, no, that's actually something worth paying attention to. And we should use that anger as a map to see, okay, what is causing this? Like, there's always like a root reason as to why there's anger. And she gives some really good examples of this too. It's actually in the next section with the synchronicity, which we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But oh, no, she does have the examples here. So I have it highlighted in my book. So she had an example for, like somebody saying, "Oh, that's my strategy he's using. This is incredible. I've been ripped off." I see this actually happen a lot in the marketing space. This has happened to me too before where I've had this like really good idea, but for whatever reason, I sit on the idea or I feel like it's an idea that's not good enough or I am embarrassed to kind of put it out in the world. I'm not ready for failure. I'm not ready for all this stuff. And so I kind of sit on this, and I had heard from my mentor, and even I think even the book talks about it too. Like when ideas are birthed, right? Like when God in the universe wants to get this out, they're gonna get it out one way or another. And so, especially like worthy things, right? And so if we're given the opportunity to have it, we don't do anything with it, it's gonna find another way to be birthed and brought into this world. And so oftentimes many of us sleep on these like dreams and desires and these ideas and these thoughts, and then we kick ourselves and it's like, oh, like we didn't do this and now this person is doing it and they're having crazy success with it. It's really hard. So I this has happened to me multiple times in the marketing industry. I've seen it happen to other people in the marketing industry as well. And so she says, like, in an example like this, what anger could be telling you in that moment is that it's time to take your own ideas seriously enough to actually treat them well. And I sat on that and I was like, oh dang, like she's right. There are things that I should, for example, my book. I have been sitting on my book literally since February. Things I wrote about in February have come true already. I have already like it was already prophetic in many ways, and I have been sitting on it because I have been making some revisions, but there I also realized like, man, there's a part of me that is afraid about putting this book out, and what if I'm wrong about something? And so reading this chapter, it was like a really big revelation for me today, and I was like, I need to get I need to get this done. So anger is a map. It's to be acted on to help us create better boundaries, or maybe to take action to push us into new things. Anger is not the action itself of us being like, "Ugh," like all fighting or whatever. It really is an invitation into something new. And so in this whole process, we have to remember that we are unblocking things, we're relearning creativity. This whole thing can feel really erratic with like trying to give yourself time to like heal and have peace, but also trying to like recognize when you're angry and figure out what's making you angry. This whole like healing journey is not like a linear thing. It is such a chaotic, crazy thing, and that's okay. Just give yourself grace throughout this whole thing. So then on the next chapter, she talks about synchronicity, and this one can be really hard for people. I love this one naturally just because like I'm constantly fascinated and at wonder with my relationship with God. I have grown up in a lot of like Christian spaces, very evangelical. Now I'm definitely way more progressive. I just went the whole opposite side of things. And I feel like my faith journey has changed and has looked so differently over the years. And I feel like it's still shifting and growing and evolving. And so this part of the chapter really makes you question, especially for those of you guys who aren't on a faith-based journey. In the very beginning of the book that we encourage you to be open-minded about things, to be open-minded about the idea of a God and universe and how God actually loves you and wants to partner with you and co-create with you and collaborate with you, which is what most people aren't taught. And so in this chapter, it makes us kind of stand face to face with God again and be like, okay, like what is the whole purpose and meaning of this? And oftentimes, we pray. Prayer is a really big thing, right? Prayer is a communication, and doesn't always necessarily have to be with words out loud. It could be what's in our hearts. We will eventually do something called the artist prayer in this process. Absolutely love having an artist prayer. Just a way to bless and bring life into my business and a blessing onto other creatives. And it's just like a fun way to talk to the Lord about this stuff. But something with prayer is like, and I love she put it in here that answered prayers are scary because we asked for it. So now that we actually have the thing, what are we going to do for it? And I have seen these memes. I should have put one of them here, but I've seen these memes where it's like, um, don't be don't be upset at the life like you prayed for, or like what a privilege it is to have the life that you prayed for, even though it's not like perfect or amazing. And I was thinking about that a lot today because I I'm in a season of transition right now. Many of you guys know like all the different things that are going on. I'm also trying to figure out health stuff, and we've got some personal family things going on and whatnot. And in this whole process, I've been like, okay, Lord, like as hard as it is, I'm also very grateful. I'm very grateful that like if I need to rest and heal my body, I am able to create my own schedule to do something like that. And this is a life that I prayed for. And even though it is not easy, it is still hard. Like I need to be grateful for that and really recognize that and just keep inviting God to breathe more life into this and help lighten the burden, help lighten the load. So I love that answered prayers deliver us back to our own hand. That's really fun. And then she gives like different examples with different situations that may happen and how oftentimes like naturally our brain is like, well, that's actually a coincidence. I don't think God actually destined that. And it's like, no, this is like way too good for it just to be a coincidence. This is because like God truly wanted this to happen. And so I love moments like that. I love opportunities like that. It's just so fun. So she really says, like we're much more afraid that there might be a God than we are that there might not be. Because if there is no God, we're all off the hook, aren't we? And this is a really big thing with just like the understanding of the gospels and the kingdom, and really recognizing that especially for faith-based people, I think a lot of times, especially for me growing up, the message got lost where the gospel was all about like being a one-way ticket to heaven and just escaping hell. And it wasn't actually the gospel that Jesus preached while he was on earth. And it's taken me so long to recognize that, which is like so embarrassing to say and so crazy to say, but it's like the whole gospel is about bringing the kingdom of heaven to earth, like while we're here. And so, like, it's all about partnership and collaborating and like partnering with heaven and bringing it to the here and now. And so, if we don't believe in God, then like, who's the responsibility on, right? It's easy to kind of blame another thing, and so like it really kind of emphasizes like, oh, like I have a purpose and I have a higher calling and I have something that I have to do with my life, and I have to bring it and help others, and I'm responsible for and whatnot. So a lot of this part of the chapter is talking about that. And she's just saying how if there is no God, we can feel justified in declaring certain things are impossible or unfair. But if there is a God, then we may be able to do some things because God knows that the sky is the limit, right? I always equate God and the universe. They're one and the same for me. So when I say the universe, I mean God. When I say God, I mean the universe, because at the end of the day, it's an expansive, ever growing energy and flow, good orderly direction, as she likes to say too. So I love that like reframe and that shift of perspective. So if we do in fact have to deal with a force beyond us that involves itself in our lives, then we may move into action on impossible dreams. And I've really been finding myself challenging myself more in this area. And I think this is like where a big thing of faith really comes in. And this kind of circles back to the beginning of the book when we first started reading this, when she really emphasizes leap and the net will appear, right? Really trust in this. And I actually really like that she brought up this next Bible verse, right? Asking you shall receive, knock and it shall be open to you. Seek first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness and everything will be added unto you. Like that verse is really a scientific method of asking. So it's an experiment and then seeing what happens, seeing the result of it. So if you do this, then this. And there's a lot of scripture that is kind of set up that way. We see that a lot of times in Proverbs too. So there's so much wisdom and there's so much power in that statement. And that's really shifted the way I view my faith as well. So it's super cool. So a rule of thumb, never to ask whether you can do something. Instead, say that you were doing it, then fasten your seatbelt and the most remarkable things will follow. This is really an act of faith. And I have seen this even happen in some of my friendships and even in my own life where I'll be like, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And it never gets done. Right. But just by simply changing the language and saying you're going to do something and like actually like shifting your mindset and like you're bringing it to life. You're really breathing this stuff into life. So I love that. So like I have shifted a lot of my stuff where and you'll hear this a lot in the woo woo world, and it never made sense when I would see all these people on TikTok pop up with like manifestation secrets and law of attraction and all this stuff. And then I'm like, oh wait, this actually does make sense to actually like speak life into things and bring motion into things and bring action into these things. So the universe falls in love with worthy plans, and most especially with festive and expansive ones. And I just added the note that God loves creativity and really wants to partner with us. So understand that the what comes before the how. Choose what you want to do, and then the how falls into place. And this is actually a really good example of when I started my school community last year. I knew that I wanted to start a low ticket membership. I knew I wanted to start a community for people that they could go in, they could ask questions, they could get very high level coaching and feedback at a minimum cost. And it would still be safe for my time and my boundaries and my energy, but it would be over delivering and valuable for the people that are in there. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew what I wanted to do. And so I just took motion on the what, and I was like, okay, I know I want to call it this. I know I want it to be this and this. I'm just going to figure it out along the way. And that's exactly what's happened. And it's actually been a really cool, beautiful process. Alrighty. So, and then last but not least, we like to pretend it is hard to follow our heartstrings, but the truth is, it is difficult to avoid walking through many of the doors that are open. And we are scared to do that because we're scared of failure most often. And sometimes the possibility of being successful actually can frighten us. And I can't remember if we read this in a past chapter. My memory's horrible. It's so bad, you guys. Um, I can't remember if we read this in a past chapter or if it's in an upcoming chapter, but she does talk about this a lot. This is a very, very, very common thing for creatives to be fearful of success, and like because success could equal more eyes on you. In some cases, people think that it's going to take more of their time, it's going to take more of their money, it's going to take all this stuff. So for me personally, this has been a thing. I have struggled with this. I'm like, oh man, like I don't want to be really successful because then I'm going to have to deal with trolls. I'm going to have to deal with haters, and then like I'm going to have to do all this stuff and whatnot. And I've been really recognizing this and being like, no, but if not me, then who else is going to do this? And I'm positioned in such a moment of time right now where like it makes sense for me to do this, and it makes sense for me to carry this, and it makes sense for me to like share this breakthrough with others. And if people are going to hate, people are going to hate, and I will create systems to protect my time and energy and space with against those haters. But this is such a thing that's needed. So, really practicing the art of synchronicity. I can never say that word. Then the next chapter is all about shame. This is another really big one. And this is something that I feel like I'm constantly sorting out as a creative, especially over the last few years. So, shame is an older enemy. This is often in the form of self sabotage. And we learn this often when we are growing up, especially as children, growing up as adults, but it still happens even in our adult years. So, shame is an attempt to prevent a person from behaving in a way that would embarrass us. It's the act of, oh, and so the act of making art exposes a society to itself. Art brings things to light. It illuminates us. It sheds light on our lingering darkness. It casts a beam into the heart of our own darkness and says, see. So, often because we're ashamed, we don't want to bring that art out, even though art is healing and art brings light into dark places. Because of the shame, it's preventing us from doing these amazing things that the world and that society really need. And so we really have to kind of go back and figure out, okay, where did this like shame start from? Did it start from a parent? Did it start from a sibling? Did it start from a friend? Did it start from a teacher? Did it start from a online community? Like, where did it start from? We really have to like revisit that. It is important that not all criticism is shaming. We must learn where and when to seek the right sort of criticism. I think this actually has to kind of go back back to the last chapter where they talked about crazy makers in your life and having that safety circle almost. And she even said like art requires a safe hatchery. You have to remember that in this whole process, we are working on nurturing our inner artist, and our inner artist is a child. And we need to have a space where we feel safe with birthing new ideas. And so that's why it's really important as you guys are going through this process to be in the right community, to be around the right people, to have the right people speaking life into into like your ideas and your thoughts and your business, and people who are encouraging you, and people who are willing to give you maybe like more positive helpful critique versus, oh no, I hate that, it sucks, and then they can't give you a reason why. So, that's why like often when I'm working with creatives and I'm working with artists, I'm even working with people who aren't designers and teaching them how to do design and stuff like that. I always try to find a way to like encourage them and keep it positive and let them know like, hey, maybe this isn't the way that I would do it. However, with that being said, here's what you can do to fix it. And so there's a way to communicate a safe, I don't even want to say criticism, I guess that's more feedback, but in this time it's really important to have the right people in your circle. So even for me right now in this season of my life, I'm very protective of the friendships that I have right now. I'm very protective of who is speaking into my life right now, who is having access to my calendar right now, my time right now. And it has been really good. It has been really, really healing. Okay, then she goes over the rules of the roads and detective work. It's actually like 2 pages, so I didn't want to put it all in the slides here. If you have this version of the book, it's on page 72. So she has, rules of the roads when dealing with any form of criticism. Receive your criticism all the way through and get it over with. Jot down notes to yourself on what concepts or phrases bother you, because remember, anger leads to, it's an invitation, it's a map, it leads to something else. Jot down notes on what concepts or phrases seem useful. Do something very nurturing for yourself, like read a good old review or recall a compliment, especially if this criticism might be negative. Remember that even if you have made a truly rotten piece of art, it may be a necessary stepping stone for your next work. Art matures and requires ugly duckling growth stages. Look at the criticism again. Does it remind you of any criticism from your past? Is it like revealing any shame? Acknowledge to yourself that the current criticism is triggering grief over a long-standing wound. Write a letter to the critic, but don't mail it. And defend your work and acknowledge what was helpful, if anything, if the criticism was pro-offered. Get back on the horse, make an immediate commitment to do something creative, and then do it. Creativity is the only cure for criticism, which I absolutely love. I think that's so powerful. Then the next one is an exercise called detective work. And so she has like a list of about 20 different things. And so you have to go through all the different phases and kind of feel the emotions and kind of pick up the missing fragments and pieces of yourself. And you want to come up with different like things with those phrases. And you will notice in some cases, like you may not have remembered things, some that you might have trauma blocks, some things naturally. You may notice some different feelings coming up where it's like, ooh, I don't have a good feeling associated with this thing. And then it invites you to kind of go deeper with that and figure out, okay, well, why do I have shame attached to this one thing right here? So for me, a lot of this often was money. I had a lot of shame around money, which makes sense because I anytime I was reading this book without doing it in community, whenever it got to the money chapter, I would immediately shut down and not want to do anything. And it was because the way I was raised, religiously speaking, I always was kind of taught that it was bad to be wealthy, it was bad to be rich, it was bad to want money, it was bad to do all these things. And now I'm in a place where I'm like, no, I want to make 7 figures and I want to have my dream life and I want to use my money to bless others and I want to be a philanthropist and I want to do all this stuff. And I can only do this stuff if I have money. And so like I really had to work on the shame that I had carried for so long and so many years. And it's stupid stuff too that like kind of caused me to believe. I mean, naturally, a lot of churches kind of teach that. It's funny because like they ask for tithes and offerings always from like the entrepreneurs. And then, you always ask them to give you money for you to go overseas and do missions and things like that. And so now I'm like, wait, like what I do now and here is my mission field. But that's a whole nother conversation for chapter 6. I think chapter 6 is the one that's it's either 6 or 7 that talks about the concept of abundance. So then the next section she talks about is growth and how growth is an erratic forward movement. You often go 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. I see this all the time in my own creative career where I feel like I'm going forward and then it's like, I take a step back, move forward, take a step back. And again, it's because healing is not linear. It is a whole journey that we must be willing to be flexible with. So it's really important that we practice being kind to ourselves in this journey. This is a big reason why we do the morning pages and we do the artist date. The morning pages allow us to rest on the pages, especially when we're feeling really chaotic in our mindset. And then the artist date lets us kind of treat ourselves and do self-care and really nurture that inner artist. So experiment with solitude, make it a habit to check in on yourself, ask yourself how you're feeling, listen and respond kindly to your body. And I know that sounds so simple and it sounds so stupid. And I don't have children, so I can't really wow, this is very weird, guys. This is where did this come from? This is okay, this is so weird. You're not even gonna believe this. I hit my desk. I hit my desk and a nickel just appeared on my keyboard. I have no idea where this came from. Like I can't even show you like I don't even know if I can show you my setup. I literally have my book and my desk. I have no idea where that nickel came from. Okay, well that's weird. I don't know what that means, but cool. Thanks God. Okay, so anyways, where was I going with this? The go on. Oh, artist date. I was talking about the artist date. Go on your artist date. Let's see. What was I? I was talking about like how I don't have children, so I know it's harder, especially for like I see my friends with their kids and whatnot. It can be really hard for them to separate and have time by themselves. But if you can, if you have a supportive spouse or a partner or a family who could watch the kids for a little bit, and you can just kind of spend some time with yourself, even if it's for 10 minutes, I think that's so healing. It's so helpful. So if you do something hard, promise a break and get yourself a little treat afterwards. If any of you guys watch Parks and Rec, I love the treat yourself. It's one of my favorite things. So I do that often where it's like if I had a really hard, rough day, I'll go out for a cup of coffee or I'll go get, dinner that night instead of cooking, or I'll do like a little something to kind of treat myself. That always helps out. But I love how after this section, she just talks about how this really kind of puts into a new perspective that quote that God helps those who help themselves. This just kind of takes on a whole new meaning, which I completely agree. So, last but not least in the book are all the tasks. But as you guys know, we don't go over all of these tasks because this would just take a lot more time. So, if you are inside, oh, I just realized that I'm kind of blocking the thing again. There you go. And so I mean, here are the check-ins, by the way. You feel free to email me. Email me how you did your morning pages. Email me about your artist dates. Let me know how the affirmations are. If they're helping, that should really help, especially with this week, as you might be feeling a little all over the place with all your emotions and whatnot. And then homework-wise, this is where you will do like your tasks, and then of course keep doing your morning pages, do your affirmations. You're gonna read week 4. So, task wise, though, I do want to visit this really quickly. If you're inside Higher Calling Creative Club, we are meeting tomorrow. I think it's at 3 p.m. Eastern time. I completely forgot to record last week's session, so I'm really sorry about that. 3 p.m. might be a little rough time for people, so I actually might change it to noon instead. I haven't fully decided. I'll decide tomorrow, seeing how people show up. But go through the different tasks and the different exercises. You don't have to do all 10 of them. I know oftentimes a lot of people get really overwhelmed with like seeing the list of exercises and they're like, oh no, I don't want to do that. I'm happy even if you do just one of them. I of course would love if you do more than one, but even if you do one, that's a really big deal, especially if it's your first time reading this book and going through this book. It can be a lot to do everything. So I know some people, they'll read the book, but then they'll do like a task a day. You could also do that as well if you wanted to. So we will talk about some of the tasks tomorrow for those who are willing to be open and talk about it and communicate about and whatnot. And then next week, we're going to go over recovering a sense of integrity. So with next week, I'm trying to figure this out. I'm either going to have a friend substitute in for me. I got to see who's available. or I am going to move the call to Sunday night because I am teaching in a local girl boss group next Monday. I'm talking about Canva. And so I'm not going to be home in time to do our typical Monday night live stream. So I might try to get somebody else to run it for me, or I'm just going to change the time and do it at a different time. So that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me on tonight, Monday, October 27th. Yeah, this is so cool. I see you, Rachel, in the chat. Yes, it was nice meeting you on TikTok today as well. I meet some of the coolest people on TikTok. It's unreal. I am very grateful that the algorithm sends me some pretty epic people. But that is it for this evening. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a blessed night. Hope you have a really good week. Take care of yourself this week. Do something fun this week. Treat yourself this week. Get a little treat. And check in with me. Let me know how you're doing. And hopefully I'll see some of you guys inside of my group. And yeah, I'll talk to you then. All right. Bye.